UK charities urge ministers to stop scapegoating nature for planning failures. We're going to read into this exclusive from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here. An exclusive from The Guardian with the headline that UK charities are urging ministers to stop scapegoating nature for planning failures. The RSPB and the National Trust are among groups saying that rhetoric from Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer is at odds with the public sentiment. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share this across social media so others are notified of this video. Let's break this down here. So obviously, this is regarding the need for building 1.5 million new homes. Obviously, that is the target they want to try and achieve. I still don't personally think they're going to be able to achieve that target. I could be wrong. They may be able to achieve it. But obviously it's about where these houses are going, where these homes are built, and it's also very important that we protect nature, protect some of our nature reserves, our National Trust areas, and protecting wildlife. All these things are really really important. So there needs to be that line. Now there are lots of brownfields. There's still lots of areas up and down England or in other parts of the UK where there are areas where their homes can be built. They can be done in those areas. And there are obviously conflicts. There are conflicts taking place here where they are looking to push in certain areas where there are certain wildlife at risk here. And the example, obviously, they've put on the screen here is a bat here. Whereas when they were building that high-speed rail 2, as you guys, I've covered it on this channel, as you guys know, they spent up to nearly £100 million on a special bat tunnel to cover the train and to protect the bats from it, because they're a special bat species. And while I understand the importance of protecting this bat species, like we shouldn't be spending £100 million on it, for example. So there are many challenges to this. So there is this balance, but from wanting to build more homes, build more infrastructure, and that we need, while also making sure that we are building, protecting our wildlife, our nature reserves and whatnot as well. So there has to be a balance here, and it's about finding that right balance and not being too much or too little on each other. It's really, really important that we have that right, strike the right message with that. So nature charities, with a combined membership of about 8 million people, are pressing the Prime Minister and the Chancellor to stop demonising wildlife and to urgently strengthen environmental protections in new planning laws. So organisations which are household names such as the RSPB, the National Trust and the Wildlife Trust, are calling on MPs to back amendments of the Planning and Infrastructure Bill to end what they say is scapegoating of the nature for the failure of the planning system. They say the anti-nature rhetoric employed by Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer, who has labelled environmental objectors as blockers, is at odds with public sentiment. A YouGov poll commissioned by the group revealed that 71% of the public would support increased planning protections for green and blue spaces, including fields, woodlands, community parks, national parks, rivers, lakes and streams. So right here, okay, yes, it is a poll and you take polls with a pinch of salt, but YouGov is one of the most reliable polls that's out there. And I would absolutely agree that the majority of the public want to protect green spaces, want to protect community parks, nature parks, rivers, lakes and streams. And I'm sure most of you in the comments down below will agree that we need to protect these areas, but we also need to build as well. So there's a line of protecting these while also being able to build the infrastructure that we need for the future as well in the UK. The organisations are urging MPs to back amendments to toughen environmental protections in the bill as it goes through to second reading on Monday, including adding strict rules that environmental benefits must significantly outweigh harm from development and a legal duty to avoid harm to protect wildlife whenever possible. The Chancellor and the Prime Minister would do very well to remember that nature does not block growth. It is this very foundation on which growth is built, said Matt Brownlee of the Wildlife Trust. This bill would mean house builders and developers can disregard environmental regulations for individual projects and instead pay into a national nature reservation levy. Some critics have labelled this as a reversal from the polluters pays principle to a system of paying to pollute. Leaders of the nature organisations have worked closely with ministers in an attempt to ensure that rivers, chalk streams, which are uniquely freshwater habitats, found mostly in the south and east of England, and threatened species such as dormice, otters and badgers, have their protections maintained in the new Plain Bill. However, they say trust has been broken between ministers and charities. Richard Benwell, the Chief Executive of the Wildlife and Countryside Link, an umbrella group of more than 80 charities, said the planning changes could shake the very foundations of environmental law in England. Says after months of senior ministers scapegoating nature, trust is eggshell thin. To rebuild trust and grasp the opportunities a day of demonising wildlife must end, he said. Government should work quickly to amend the bill to shore up safeguards for the UK's most precious wildlife and to ensure that the planning system is nature positive, with every development wider by design. The charities say any new law should respect the key environmental rules that harm should be avoided whenever possible, and always avoided where the damage would be irreparable. They also added that the legal tests in the bill that nature benefits must outweigh harm from a development that are too weak. The government says the new planning rules will unleash a building boom as it pursues its target of 1.5 million new homes by the end of this parliament. It says it will replace the current systems of environmental assessments to deliver more efficient and streamlined systems that will reduce costs and delay for developers while still protecting the environment. Reeves has repeatedly pitted nature against growth, saying the government will cut red tape to focus on getting things built and to stop worrying about the bats and the newts. That's not a very good. That's not a very good comment to say the bats and the newts there, especially that story. Obviously, the story about the bats seems as sort of a hammer thing to throw out. Yeah. Henry McGargy, the director of the General at the National Trust, which has more than 5 million members, said, "Environmental regulations protect the species that we cherish as nature, whether it's puffins, butterflies, or hedgehogs. We agree that regulations can and should be improved if housing is to be built at a scale suggested. But the vital safeguards and regulations provide for nature and people's quality of life should not be understated, taken for granted, or overridden." Becky Spluser, the RSPB chief executive, said, "We are in the middle of a nature and climate crisis. The public and our natural world deserve better, and our future resilience depends on it. If unmended, the bill risks doing nothing but accelerating the catastrophic decline of our natural world to the detriment of everyone." The YouGov polled 2,193 adults over Thursday and Friday last week, with 12% of those polled believe current planning rules go too far in protecting the country's natural spaces. The UK government spokesperson has stated that nature and development have been unnecessarily pitted against each other for far too long, and this broken status quo has blocked economic growth and done nothing for nature's recovery. Our planning and infrastructure bill will deliver for our natural world by introducing new nature restoration funds while also unblocking the building of homes and infrastructure so that we can unleash economic growth and get Britain building again. Now, like I said, it's really important that we push and enable the use of building homes, and that there needs to be more carte blanche pressure on councils, pressure on local government authorities to build more homes, build more infrastructure. We do need more of that because we have been very slow on that. And I agree with the government sentiment on that in particular. We do need to do that. However, we also must make sure that we are protecting nature. We are protecting wildlife. We need to protect as much of this as we possibly can, because once it's gone, once you've bulldozed that area and it's all become urban housing and whatever, you're not getting that back. And it's so important for people to understand that. We really need to make sure that we are protecting species, that we are protecting nature as much as we possibly can. It's so important, for the UK as a whole, that we protect it. It really, really is. And it does worry me, this bill. It does worry me, this bill, that there's possibility that we could see a lot of green kicked away in order to build these 1.5 million new homes. I really wish they didn't have this target, because it feels like that they're just it feels like they're carte blanching. It comes across a bit like carte blanching, that they're willing to push anything and everything out of the way to do so. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope that nature does not get seriously hampered by this government's desperation to build 1.5 million new homes. Some people will say in the comments that they will, but I hope not. I really, really hope not. But what do you guys honestly think about all this? What do you guys make of the bill? What do you guys make of the of the charities and the possible scapegoating of nature in order to build the homes that they want for the future. Let me know your thoughts on this and more down in the comment section below. Now, if you found this video informative or helpful in any way to you, please hit that like button, we greatly appreciate it. Share this across social media so others are notified of this video. Subscribe if you haven't to already, and hit that join button down below to join the YouTube membership for as little as 99p. Get you access to custom emojis and extra good stuff as well. And you could also check out the Rumble and Patreon channels for exclusive content on those platforms as well. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.